The United States will withdraw from the United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization, otherwise known as UNESCO, by the end of 2026, according to a statement from the State Department. This move marks yet another step in Donald Trump's ongoing efforts to pull the US back from international cooperation frameworks during his second term. A spokesperson for the department, Tammy Bruce, falsely stated that UNESCO promotes divisive social and cultural causes and adheres too closely to the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, which she described as ideological and misaligned with the administration's America First agenda.
And today, the United States informed Director General Audrey Azoulay of the United States' decision to withdraw from the United Nations Educational, Scientific, and Cultural Organization, also known, of course, as UNESCO. Continued involvement in UNESCO is not in the national interest of the United States. UNESCO works to advance divisive social and cultural causes and maintains an outsized focus on the UN's Sustainable Development Goals, a globalist ideological agenda for international development at odds with our America First foreign policy. UNESCO's decision to admit the, quote, State of Palestine, end quote, as a member state is highly problematic, contrary to U.S. policy, and contributed to the proliferation of anti-Israel rhetoric within the organization. Continued U.S. participation in international organizations will focus on advancing American interests with clarity and conviction. Based on President Trump's executive order, continued participation in international organizations is under review, and this is one result of that review, confirming the importance of making sure that all of what we do comports with the America First agenda.
UNESCO, headquartered in Paris, was founded in the aftermath of World War II to foster peace through global collaboration in education, science, and culture. While U.S. officials at the organization had reportedly anticipated the departure, the decision still represents a significant diplomatic setback. The U.S. contributes about 8% of UNESCO's budget, less impactful than its financial role in other organizations like the World Health Organization, but still symbolically meaningful. Deputy White House spokesperson Anna Kelly said that the administration was acting on voter mandates. President Trump has decided to withdraw the United States from UNESCO, which supports woke, divisive, cultural and social causes that are totally out of step with the common-sense policies that Americans voted for in November, she said. In February, the White House initiated a 90-day review of U.S. involvement with UNESCO, citing concerns about ongoing bias against Israel, institutional inefficiency, and what it called a lack of meaningful reform. Critics of the move, including UNESCO Director General Audrey Azoulay, called it regrettable and contrary to the principles of multilateralism. She challenged the reasons given for the withdrawal, especially accusations of bias, pointing to the agency's work on Holocaust education and anti-Semitism as evidence of its impartial mission. This marks the third time the U.S. has exited UNESCO. It first withdrew under President Ronald Reagan in 1984, citing political bias and mismanagement, before rejoining under George W. Bush in 2003. Trump previously ended U.S. participation in 2017 during his first term, citing similar grievances. President Joe Biden brought the U.S. back into the organization in 2023, partly to counter growing Chinese influence, agreeing to pay nearly $619 million in back dues as a condition for reinstatement. UNESCO has historically recognized World Heritage Sites, such as the Grand Canyon and Machu Picchu, and supports initiatives in global education, cultural preservation, and media safety. The withdrawal from UNESCO is just one part of a broader pattern during Trump's presidency. Under his leadership, the U.S. exited a range of global institutions and agreements. Most notably, the U.S. left the Paris Climate Agreement in 2020, with Trump arguing that the pact disadvantaged American workers and imposed unfair economic burdens. The decision isolated the U.S. diplomatically and was reversed by President Biden shortly after he took office. Similarly, the Trump regime halted U.S. funding to the World Health Organization at the height of the COVID-19 pandemic, accusing the agency of mismanaging the crisis and being too deferential to China. That decision was met with widespread condemnation from public health officials and global allies. The regime also suspended support for the UN Relief and Works Agency, which provides humanitarian aid to Palestinian refugees, and withdrew the US from the UN Human Rights Council. In both cases, the rationale was similar: claims of anti-Israel bias and supposed organizational dysfunction. Trump's withdrawal from international legal frameworks went even further. His regime took steps to withdraw from the International Criminal Court, the ICHR, a body designed to prosecute war crimes and crimes against humanity. The US imposed sanctions on ICC officials investigating American personnel, calling the court illegitimate and unaccountable. Taken together, these moves represent a systematic dismantling of the US's post-World War II role in shaping and supporting global governance. Critics argue that abandoning these institutions reduces American influence and weakens global norms, while supporters say the withdrawals reflect a necessary correction to entanglements that don't serve US interests. UNESCO's Director General Azoulay expressed disappointment in the most recent US withdrawal, but said the agency was financially prepared for the loss. UNESCO has undertaken structural reforms and diversified its funding base. The decreasing trend in US contributions has already been absorbed. Job cuts are not being considered, and the agency's mission, she added, remains unchanged. As the Trump regime continues its review of multilateral commitments, more exits from international agreements remain possible, further signaling a shift in US foreign policy from global leadership to a more isolationist posture. I'm Anthony Davis. You can find me on the 5 Minute News YouTube channel and podcast, on Wednesdays co-hosting Uncovered, and on Sunday on The Weekend Show with MeidasTouch.
The truth is more important than ever. Check out our new Truth Over Lies collection at store.meidastouch.com. All 100% USA union made.